Okay, so we're going to be doing some debugging today. So we want basically to print up any and all values that affect whether or not a stone can be placed and all of that good stuff. So okay. I don't even know where to begin. I guess let's begin removing any value here that is not used. So I'm not sure if we do this stones and handlocked anymore. Okay, we do not. So let's go ahead and get rid of this. Okay. I guess the idea is to go through, see what variables we don't need in here, remove them, and then kind of take note of what variables we might need that would be useful for debugging, and organize them in such a way that they'll be on the same page so that we can go through and test our program and find out where we're getting those bugs, because it works for the most part, but it's able to break. So we want to make sure we aren't able to break them. Okay, yeah, we don't use this first movement gridlocked anymore. Curious if we use this even. Yeah, we do use that. Oh, no, we moved it to dropped in first movement. So yeah, both of these stones dropped should be able to go. Okay. We don't use this anywhere. Okay, I think we use just about everything else. I don't think we use our move locked anymore. Yeah. We don't use our move locked anymore. Basically, the idea is we want to print out as many of these variables as we can, so that when we find an instance of us not being able to, or once we find a bug, we can look at all that info and determine where it must have gone wrong. I don't know if we use this anymore. We need moveLog column over here. I'm pretty sure we use stones to copy. Yep. Okay. Okay, we don't use our pickup index anymore either. Okay. See, and I think some of the bugs, at least one of the bugs we found yesterday, was where our tester stack highlight was being rendered solid green when it shouldn't have, but I feel like that's something to do with our tester boolean that we must have missed somewhere, so I'm not exactly sure what that is, but that shouldn't be carried over into the real game because we won't be spawning any tester stones to start with in the real game, so we might be good there. Be nice if we could find it though. We also want to limit, we don't want our player to be able to place a stone if they don't have any stones left, because there is a limit to these stones, so we can probably add that. I want it here, this first movement, or here, all of this movement variables should be next to one another. Okay. So when we go to place a stone, instead of just being able to place it, let's see. We would only want to be able to place a stone if the player has the stones left. Where do we decrement our stones? Yeah, where do, oh, here. Okay, so we don't necessarily want to play this sound unless the stone's actually dropped. So I guess, yeah, when do we want to check how many stones we got? mean, I guess we do it right here, because this is where we decrement our stone and actually place it. Yeah, we actually place the stone here. So... yeah, there's an option where because we could do it where if our player's stones, which is our stones, playable stones basically, if our playable stones is equal to 0, we have no more stones to play, so we can only move stones at that point. So do we limit the player to only moveType moves if their playable stones are equal to 0? Would that be easier? Because then we can bypass, we don't have to ask if player 1's stones is greater than 0, and also if player 2, and if player 2 stones are greater than 0, then do all this. We can just say, you know, at the beginning of our move, or we only allow ourselves to swap move types if our player stones is greater than 0. So we can do it right here because we can't be yeah, so look, we want to be able to be in a moveType move either if you switch to it or if your player. So if player's 1, I think I do it with a integer just like that. Let me see, swap. Yeah, player's 1, player 1 stones, player 2 stones. So if player's equal to 1 and we're in a moveType place, if player's 1 and player 1 stones is equal to 0, or maybe we say smaller than 1, whatever. Yeah, equal to 0 is probably fine, but if it's smaller than 1, we have no more stones to place. So just swap our move type to a move, but we don't want to be able to swap it back to place if we're there. So right here, under here, we would say swap to moveType place only if player 1, well, if player is equal to 1 and player 1's stones is greater than 0, then we would want to be able to swap to a moveType place. Otherwise, we should be stuck in a moveType move. But we should also do the same thing for player 2. So if we do it here, if our player is equal to 2 and our player 2 stones is smaller than 1, we want to by default put us in a moveType move. And then if up is pressed, if up or down is pressed and we're in a moveType move, we only want to swap our place if our player is equal to 2 and our player 2 stones is greater than 0, then we go ahead and swap our place. Okay, so what I'm going to do is limit our stones to just 5 so that we can test that real quick. Make sure that we can only be in a moveType move if we have 0 stones as our player. So 477. Okay. So now we only got 5 stones. So let's go ahead. We're able to switch to a moveType move if we have more than 0 stones. But now we have 0 player 1 stones. So we should swap to a moveType move as soon as we place this. And we do. Now the question is, are we able to swap move types? And it looks like we are not. So let's say we move as player 1, and then the same thing. If we're out of stones, we can no longer place a stone. We can only move a stack in our control. So that's seeming to work. Oh, did you see for the moment there, it rendered the white stone for 1 frame? I don't know if that's worth fixing, because for 1 frame, it was on a moveType place, which rendered the stones. So maybe under our stone render, we only render the stone. Render stone selection at mouse position. So yeah, we should only... Okay. See where... Maybe... I don't know if we should fix that or not. It's not a big deal. It just happens 1 frame because it thinks we're in a moveType place for 1 frame. So it renders a stone at our position for that 1 frame until it gets switched. We could, well, I don't know how to fix it only on that 1 frame. I guess it's fine. I mean, it's just one of those things. Is that giving up? Because I don't get why it would render 1 frame of it, because that's in the render function, which happens after the update function. So as soon as we swap players, it should know. Yeah, as soon as we swap players, it should know. Well, I don't exactly know. It would do that on 1 frame. I don't think it's a big deal. If it bugs us, we can fix it. But, you know, there's only 1 instance where that would happen currently, and that's, well, 1 instance per player, and that's when you're switching from a player to a player with no more stones left. I guess we could say in player 1 stones is smaller than 0 or greater than 0, then set the appropriate color. Else if it's player 2 stones is greater than 0. Then go ahead and set that color, and we can say else we would set our color to be invisible so that we don't actually render. We would be rendering a rectangle, but at an invisible color at that point. That might fix our 1 frame of error. I don't know if you guys can even see it because I'm recording this at 30 frames a second, but right here when I click this, let's look for a very quick white square upon clicking it. It didn't seem to do it. It didn't seem to do it. So our fix looks like it worked. I'm just going to leave us a little note here. We say ask about player stones to fix 1 frame render bug. Just leave us little notes, because in the future we could be going by and we'll be like, why are we asking if player stones is greater than 0 to set the color? Why are we doing that? That's because this is to fix 1 frame render bug. So we at least fixed that. Let's, before we forget, give us 21 stones again. And then start to add our debugging pages. Now, what is useful information? Where the grid is, legal move, stack control, stone control. Now, we're doing mouse stone occupants and grid occupants. So let's call this ms occupants, ms.occupants. How many occupants are in our mouse stones? And this is how many occupants are in our grid. So grid.occupants. Now, let's see if any other info is useful for that first page. Not exactly sure what to add. Lowest milestone stack order. Our legal move highlight is probably a decent one to put in. Legal move highlight. Legal move stack order. Lowest milestone stack order. That's what that is. Lowest milestone stack order. Legal move highlight. Movement event. Okay. We also see how the red highlight is selected, even though we're way off grid here. By the time we're ready to turn off debugging, we'll turn back on this old line of code I had. That is, if our mouse stone is over here, off screen, then our grid, our mousestone grid that we're hovering over becomes nil, so that if you click off screen, it doesn't accidentally place a thing over there, which we could take off or we could leave on. I guess it's just a thing where it's like, I don't want clicking over here to place a stone over there. I want it to be where you have to put the mouse over the grid in order to drop it and place it. So let's see. I kind of want movement event to be last. So that here. And we'll make sure we've got 5 and 6 and 7. 8 is our mouse event. Our movement event should be at the bottom now. Okay. Okay, looking good so far. Is there any other info that would be useful? Should we print up all of our movement row and column? I think those are working fine, but maybe we should have a whole page of our columns. So let's do debug 2 as our columns, our locked in columns. So we'll do our movement origin row, movement origin column, first movement row, first movement column, and then let's do all the way up to fourth movement row, fourth movement column on our page 2 here. I gotta get going soon. Let's just try to get this done. Let's try to get our columns organized. So we've got second movement row, second movement column, second. And then we need third and fourth. Okay. Let's see our second page of debugging. Now we've got all of our movements on one page. So for example, if it's black's turn, movement origin row gets populated. Once we lock that in, then we will lock in whatever our first movement space is in and then it'll automatically assign our second move row and then third move row, well, once we drop something in there. And then let's just make sure that that fourth one is working. Okay, page 2, lock it in, lock it in, lock it in, lock it in. Cool. Cool, so now we've got that whole page. I'm gonna call it a night because I gotta get going. We mainly did some debugging features, but we did add one feature, which was we prevent moveType place if layer is out of stones, and then tweaked debugging pages. And we'll push it, and I'll see you guys tomorrow, and we'll hopefully get more functionality done than we did today.